have quite a crowd, so before I'm going to ask you to hold your horses before applauding every time I say thank you. I'm not going to read through all the names, but as you know, the expression, which actually comes from, I think, Swahili, it takes a village, right? You say it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to organize an event like this. So I have to thank Mark, the executive sponsor, obviously, of this summit, the speakers, some of whom have come from far away, the MCs. I'm not going to mention everyone by name, but there's a lot of people. We have the EA team, the executive assistant team, whom you have seen at the registration desk, who've been helping, the AV team. We have moderators online on Discourse. We have the Alliances team at Canonical, the community team, which I lead, obviously, and I'm forgetting, but you have a bunch of names, and I hope I haven't forgotten them here. I also want to thank the live audience, which has been very active. I hope you were inspired. There were a number of talks of different styles, different topics, and there's something that I just realized, and I didn't prepare a script for this, but it has not escaped you that the world, at least seems on the surface, very polarized. Whether it comes to politics or flame wars online. And in a way, I found it very heartwarming, some of the things that we've heard earlier today, right? The collaboration between companies that sometimes the media would love, at least in the past, to show as adversaries, opponents, right? And it's nice to see that people can come together and say, look, we're going to work on something, release something which is open source, the value of collaboration. That was pretty heartwarming for me, a big reason for me also to join Canonical earlier this year. I also like to see the dual nature of building a commercial product and being dedicated to an open source community. We had very candid questions and candid answers on that topic, so it's very inspiring to me, and I hope it was as well to you. Hopefully you were inspired also to play video games in space from now on. I mentioned the online audience. We had, the numbers we've compiled, an extra 50,000 visitors to the online discourse over each day. I had an extra 50,000 visitors. We have about 50 online questions, trying to engage with the audience online. And I mentioned, you may remember yesterday morning, I was setting a challenge to see how many new local communities we would have an expression of interest shared with us. So we have 3. One in America, one in Europe, and one in Australia. So very keen to see you 3 guys launch a local community. And of course, the challenge doesn't stop today. We want to see more of these local communities. So the conversation can keep carrying on. Online, there's been a lot of interest, in particular, for more documentation and more workshops on LXD and security. Also, there was huge interest on RISC-V, Qualcomm boards, the new boards, and the Arduino boards. So just to share with you some of what was happening and the discussion that was happening online. By the way, for those who are online, in a few minutes I'll be closing the summit here, but the music continues for another hour, the special music created for this event by artists with a Creative Commons license. So please stay on if you'd like for another hour online. The power of community. Yesterday, I think Mohammed, the MC, you were mentioning this, right? Just after lunch, about trying to find a solution for the lectern. And Pedro here had the fantastic idea of drafting a post. And indeed, we had, I think, 3 submissions, if I'm not mistaken. And it's actually working right here. We have finally something where we can put a glass and a clicker. This is the power of collaboration, the power of open sourcing things. I love it. It's happening, right? We set a challenge. Things are happening. I played the video just before I talked to show you, the number of events that happened this year, these UbuCons across all the continents except Antarctica, and we want to see more of this. And I know it can get confusing because, I throw off, or you've maybe heard like these UbuCons, and we have the Ubuntu Summit, and we had developer summits in the past, and Summit Extended. Don't worry, if it's confusing, we are here for this. My team and I, we're here to serve the community. So no matter where you are, we want to make this a thriving open source ecosystem. We're really a humble cog in that wider ecosystem. Don't hesitate. Reach out to us. either online, ubuntu.com/community, in person when you see us, or email us, right? Spam us. I say this every time at every event. I manage my emails very well, so try to spam me. Let's see, right? But with real thing, like tell me, hey, I want to join a local community. I have this exciting project. In fact, whether it's within the Ubuntu umbrella or not, as long as it's within the open source ecosystem, we want to hear from you. We're going to have the next summit in just a few months at the end of May, right? We want to have more exciting talks, examples of collaboration springing from this summit. So let us know, reach out to us. And I'd like to close off with a story that I'd like to share with you. Final few words. So, I'm standing at the registration desk, and I have a problem. It's not today, it's not yesterday. It's December 2010. That's 15 years ago, and I'm in Amman, in Jordan. That's in the Middle East. And this is the first tech conference, I was at Google back then, that I have ever organized. My hands are shaking. First event. Not particularly an extrovert, and I had never interacted with an external audience. Plus, I don't speak Arabic fluently, so it's a challenge. I've barely slept. In fact, on this photo it's me, a long time ago, 15 years ago, which I've edited because otherwise I'm completely cut. I've got blood because I'm too tired, so I've cut myself while shaving. And that is why, since then, I never have a clean-cut shave for events. I just don't take the risk. I don't want to edit the photos afterwards too much. So I'm trying to think about all the details for the event to go smoothly. It's a 3-day event. There are thousands of attendees, including the Jordanian Minister of Telecommunications. So that's really like a big deal for me. That's my boss back then, the VP of Engineering for Emerging Markets. And to make matters worse, it's snowing. Yes, it's December 2010. It actually does snow in Jordan. So there's a heavy snowstorm. It's blocking the roads. And I get messages, tons of messages from our attendees coming from Syria that they're blocked at the border. So I'm like, yeah, stress. And, the classic thing, the microphones don't seem to be working. The clickers, they're hard to press. You've seen this, right? It's not a new thing. And then that is when my problem walks up to the desk. His name is Abdullah. He's 14 years old. And he's been spamming me, emailing me for weeks, begging to attend the conference. And I respond every time, no, policy's clear, no kids. It's just too big of a liability. I have, not a risk I want to handle. And here he is now in person, standing in front of me at the registration desk. Next to him is his father. And he looks at me like desperate. And I just needed to get through the day and without the whole conference collapsing because of all these issues. This kid was just a distraction, a logistical snag, a nightmare for me. And I look at the chaos, I look at the kid's face, just, full of hope, and something makes me pause. I think back, when I was 14 years old, would I have been that desperate to attend a tech conference? I mean, my nephew, Alex, he's 14 years old. I know he's watching. I've made him passionate about computers and programming ever since he was a young kid, teaching him to code as soon as he was 3 years old. I know you're watching, Alex. And I sigh. And I say to his father, fine. He can come in, but you, as his father, you must stay with him. The whole day, no exceptions. Father nods, relieved. Abdullah, just the face lights up. I nod, and I instantly forget about him. I've got other bigger things to take care of. And the conference happens. It's a roaring success. And after the event, finally, I get to enjoy the road trip I had planned across Jordan, which is a beautiful country, if you've never visited, by the way. Fantastic, very interesting, and very, very kind people. All across, quite a surprise to me when I had visited other countries in the region. 10 years pass, the world changes. It's 2020 now. We're all stuck working from home, or in my case, I live in Switzerland, so I work in the mountains or my local park. This is my setup, homemade setup. And the chaos is no longer the conference. The chaos is a global pandemic. I'm working on my computer, going through emails full of anxiety. It's a pandemic and video conference links, setting up my tripod and my phone, and I see an email in my inbox. The name of the sender, you guessed it, Abdullah. I open it, and it says, Sebastian, you probably don't remember me. Sure I do. I was the 14-year-old kid whom you let into the conference in Amman 10 years ago. My heart stops. What is he going to ask me this time? I mean, I'm not in Jordan anymore. He goes on. I just wanted to find you and say thank you. Today, I'm a software engineer because of that event. Being in that room, listening to these talks, it transformed me. It shaped my career. It's why I do what I do. And I just sat there staring at my screen. And in that second, I was instantly back in that conference hall in Jordan. I had seen him as a problem, a line item on a checklist, a kid. But that one tiny insignificant exception I made on a chaotic, snowy day in the Middle East wasn't just a yes to an event. It was a spark. And we come to these events, we give these talks, and we get so focused on the logistics, on the slides, we worry about saying the wrong thing, we don't sleep very well. We think our job is about the big picture, right? It's not. It's about that one person in the back of the room. It's about that one kid you made an exception for. Now, you may never see the seed that you plant, or you may not see it for 10 years, but it grows. And that is why your talks matter. That's why being here or watching online matters. You have no idea whose life you're about to change. Thank you very much.